Metro Boomin put together a superhero team of rappers to take out supervillain Drake and won.
In 2024 is where this beef would really heat up. As I mentioned earlier, Future and Drake had ongoing issues at the time over a girl named Princess Diana. Well, fast forward to March 22nd, 2024. Future and Metro Boomin dropped their collab project, We Don't Trust You. Now, the title alone can be perceived as a dig at Drake, but on this album, not only did Future take some shots at Drake, but Drake's arch nemesis, Kendrick Lamar, famously dissed him as well. At this point, Drake was beefing with Future, Kendrick, Rick Ross, and Metro Boomin, which people dub as Drake versus everyone.
What up, world? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't forget, keep sending those cash apps. I appreciate you. CLBMG. Listen, man, I've been saying for weeks, the unsung hero or villain, depending on how you look at it, has been Metro Boomin in this battle. Dead ass. If you really look at it, this whole thing was like a fiendish plot. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if Metro is the hero or the villain, but for this particular video, I'm going to say that he's the hero. And I'm going to say that he put together a super squad. I don't know if you watch The Boys or anything like that, but it's something like a squad of just like anti-heroes in a way, but they still heroes to a degree. And I believe that Metro actually orchestrated an assassination plot and got a little team together to actually take on a dragon that was just too big for him. Drake was, to some people, Drake is a villain. To some people, he's a hero. So I'm going to let you decide what he was, but this team was straight orchestrated with the sole purpose of taking him out. I'm just going to be honest. If you look at how it played out, Metro didn't say a word. He pulled the strings from behind the scenes. You got to understand, Kendrick wasn't involved until Metro went and got him, right? This whole thing, it's been going back. They've been throwing subliminals, but it never came to all-out war till what? The Like That verse. What's the Like That verse? Well, Metro Boomin decided it was time to put an end where him and Future, they severed ties. I'm going to try to explain this for the people that don't know everything. Just like myself, sometimes I just need somebody to break stuff down, right? I'm going to try to do my best to break this down as best I can to how we got to this super team of super friends that was formed to completely annihilate this gigantic Thanos figure in hip-hop, right? So basically, from what it sounds like, Metro and Drake haven't been cool for quite some time. It sounds like there was some pillow talk, quote unquote, and I believe even before that, it was like a song that they worked on, and then he took Drake off. He was supposed to be on Heroes and Villains, and Drake was on the verse, but he took him off the verse over this, that, and the third, and Future and Drake did the It's Great to Be Alive Part 2 album, but for some reason, Drake decided to release his album with 21 Savage, right? And Her Loss. He decided to release that because they've been having some documented friction, him and Metro Boomin. So Drake decided to release that instead, and that kind of made Future upset because they had announced on an IG post that the album was done. So Metro Boomin did all of the music for the It's Good to Be Alive Part 2. They already had all the music done, all the tracks done, and they were set to release it. But for whatever reason, I think Drake did a switcheroo and decided to not work with Future and Metro, which cost them, I'm going to say, somewhere in the range of millions of dollars. So therefore, they decided to team up and do this We Don't Trust You album. So I'm thinking like, yo, why do you come? First of all, he did the Heroes and Villains, and he got everybody on it, all these big names, and he had Drake on it and took Drake off. That already was like a slap in the face. But then you get this whole other album that is not really your album, but you did all the music, and Drake pulls it and does another album with another guy. That's two guys right there tussling back and forth. And the behind the scenes thing is supposed to be some female name, whatever, got in the middle of their little thing. Because I don't know if they was ever really cool like that. Anyway, it was always a business thing. But one thing led to another from what it is and from what we heard, and things were said. And apparently when he took Drake off that Heroes and Villains, it made things 10 times worse. So when Drake dropped this album with 21 Savage, rightfully so, Future and Metro started cooking up something. They cooked up this whole "We Don't Trust You." And who is Drake's number one nemesis? At this point, if Drake is the hero or the villain of the story, they're going to have a nemesis, right? Now, they went out and got a bunch of people. They got The Weeknd. They got Travis Scott, who Travis Scott apparently has some kind of underlying issue with Drake as well. They went and got Rick Ross. They got Chris Brown. Chris Brown issues with Drake have been resolved, but they at one point had problems. A$AP Rocky, who defending his woman's honor because there has been some slick stuff said about Rihanna and a couple other people who unwittingly helped this album, propel this album to number one. That is supposed to be the kryptonite to the unstoppable force that is Drake. Now, when you have a super team, a lot of times one of the superheroes is more powerful than most of the other ones. With the Justice League, you got Superman, right? He's arguably the most powerful person in the Justice League. In the X-Men, you would say, who's the most powerful? It's not. I'm not going to say it's Scott. I mean, you might have to say Cyclops is the most powerful. Him or Wolverine, but Wolverine don't have no powers. At the end of the day, one of these people are the leader of this team, and they are super, almost unbeatable. That's Kendrick on this team. And when he went and put this team together, I don't think he had to do a lot of convincing to get Kendrick to come on this track, and he had to tell him what it was about. There's no reason for Kendrick just to go all out at Drake and Cole. Now, I believe that Kendrick low-key had something to say anyway when he saw that first-person shooter video. Allegedly, he's supposed to be on that song, and he turned it down, and they went and did it anyway, and J. Cole shouting them out, and they on there talking about, I'm Spider-Man, I'm Muhammad Ali, and they doing this and that, and they talking big reckless on that record. So I'm sure he had something to say when he saw that video. He like, look at these two buffoons acting like they the top dog. Man, I ain't no big three, I ain't nothing. That's why he said that. But end of the day, I'm sure he still was not going to come out with a record. So I'm assuming this plot started to cook, and Metro was like, bro, I'm about to take this dude out. I don't know if the words were said like that, but to some degree, he put the battery in Kendrick's back to write this verse and say it. And I think it's a throwaway verse because Kendrick kind of mentioned, he said, you got chipped by a throwaway. So I don't even know. He might have had this verse cooking already, might have wrote it and was like, he ain't really had no way to put it. And when this dude called him, blah, 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 I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But all I know is when this Like That song, which is freaking absolutely ridiculous, still bangs to this day, right? But when this dude spit this verse, it shocked the world. The whole thing went number one. He ain't even credited on the album, and the album going number one, right? This was the catalyst of the attack. It wasn't the end of the attack, but it was the beginning. Because you can't take a man out with one song. But Metro Boomin has an issue with this guy, right? He has a real problem, and it hasn't been a secret for a while. They've been doing videos on Metro Boomin's issues with Drake for at least a year, at least. And it all came to a head with this Like That verse. First of all, if you make an album called We Don't Trust You, right? It's all over some seedy insider information that this guy, he did this guy dirty and that guy. It's just so much stuff I don't even want to get into. Some of it's probably true. Some of it's probably exaggerated. But it sounds like Drake does a lot of stuff, really, really petty stuff to people just to get you back when he feels slighted. And he doesn't let it go. He's going to get you and then never speak to you again, right? And I think he got used to that. And it started to be like, this is what I do. I either bang your girl or I take you off a song or I leak a song that you didn't want out. I'm going to do something to get you back, and I'm going to get the last laugh. He was getting the last laugh for quite a few years. Drake was pretty much unstoppable. He can do anything he wanted. But I believe Metro realized it's not going to be one song. I'm going to need a fight. I'm going to need somebody to fight. I can't rap. I don't write rhymes. I need somebody that's going to come in, and he gonna do all the heavy lifting, right? He said, if I can just bait him into this battle, I can step back and watch. And that's what Metro been doing. He sat back in the cut and laughed until he told him, shut your whole ass up and make some drums. This dude made one of the most illest instrumentals in the history of hip hop, dead ass. Like BBL Drizzy, probably one of the hardest instrumentals. I mean, when the last time you seen people bump into an instrumental? Like you could throw that on anywhere. Like I was at the beach, and one or two of the workers, we was pulling into the beach, and one or two of the young workers started bouncing to it. Like these two little white kids they looked like they was 15 years old, started bouncing like, yo, that's fire, right? When have you heard an instrumental be this popular, right? Like since what, Summertime by Kool and the Gang? Like dead ass. Like, so he made a mistake by telling this man to go make some drums, right? Shut your whole ass up and make some drums. He made some drums, and it really, I think, put the icing on the cake of this battle. But the simple fact of the matter is he didn't have to write one rap. He put this BBL out and said, I'm going to give you, what was it, 10K and a free beat if you put some lyrics to this. He had 1,000 people dissing Drake. It's a small little army. It's like House of Dragons when I'll get this army and we'll move this army and that army to Asterios and all that. Like he right now is moving chess pieces and moving army figures all around. This guy has pupperized this whole game. Now, he didn't need to pupperize Kendrick. Kendrick, all he did was had to put the battery in his back, wind him up, and Kendrick was gone. Kendrick already wanted him anyway. He wanted him anyway. But like I said, I do not believe Kendrick, it was bubbling, but I think if we left it up to Kendrick and Drake, I'm gonna be honest, we might still be waiting 5 years for that battle. I don't think Kendrick would have attacked him. I don't think Drake would have attacked him. I think we would have got subliminals for 4 or 5 years. And it might have never happened. I'm gonna be honest with you, because it was never a thing where they was gonna out and out just disrespect each other. And maybe for shits and giggles, maybe Kendrick called him, right? I don't think so. I don't think Kendrick called Metro. I think Metro put a whole plan in motion, and he thought about who don't like this dude. I'm gonna organize something, and he organized it. And Kendrick was right there, and dead ass this verse. He hit both of them dudes. Bong, bong, hit Cole. He didn't even really hit Cole like that. Cole didn't even need to respond. He didn't hit Cole like that. He just said, F the big three, it's big me. He didn't disrespect Cole. Cole didn't have no reason to stick his neck out there and then have to apologize. It made no sense. But I feel like if you ever seen like a fiendish plot unfold, if you watch a movie and there's someone in the shadows, like, I think that was Metro Boomin dead ass in the shadows, dog, just like watching things unfold on some like Despicable Me. Like he's just like putting his minions in motion, and it worked perfectly, because I think the arrogance is what made this the icing on the cake for him to lose, because I don't think he thought Kendrick had it in him to even respond, and he didn't think that he would respond well. I think he thought his hit records and his reputation for what he's done in the past was going to easily propel him in this battle. That's why he didn't take it serious at first. And that's why he was asking this guy, yo, where you at, bro? Drop. Nah, you ain't getting out of this. Drop. It's been academics, 15 days, 16 days, with no drop. That they was goading him because they thought he was not going to respond, or whatever he was going to respond was going to be weak. And that's where the arrogance came into play. And that's why the battle went the way it went. A savage loss. Now, for a minute, it was a back and forth. It was a tussle. You had push-ups, and then you had Family Matters and da-da-da. And for me, I'm a Kendrick guy. So I liked mostly Kendrick's music in this battle. And by the time we got to Not Like Us, it was already over. People were telling me that he didn't even need to drop Not Like Us. And I was like, he most certainly did, because there was still some question that the battle wasn't over. When that dropped, I heard it one time. I said, this a banger. This a nuclear bomb. I heard it one time, and I was like, this thing is a problem. This battle is over. This is the when you do a wedding and you get a cake, and then you put the little topper on the top of it. Once the cake is done and you put that topper, the wedding, now we can start the wedding. That's when this was what that was. This was the end of it. And there was no one at that point. Yeah, they were still trying to discredit it. They were finding ways to, he already had a pre-written verse. That's not fair. Like, they were trying to find things to make it like he cheated, or it was he didn't play fair, or he don't really know how to battle because he wrote that in advance. How do you write 5 records in it? He changed the rules of engagement, bro. You got to keep up. There ain't no rules in no war, bro. There ain't no rules, right? So it is what it is. Innocents and civilians and children shouldn't be hurt, but sometimes they collateral damage. It is what it is, right? And Drake brought the children and the innocence into it first. Let's just be honest. So I feel like Metro Boomin, when it all goes down in history, he's going to come out of this smelling like roses, and they're not going to really remember or understand what this man really did to bring Drake down. Drake has a real problem. I'll be the first one to say he going to struggle to go number one. I'm just going to be honest. Because going number one means they got to play you over and over. They got to go back to that song and play it again and play it again. And I don't know if these people that used to play it over and over are going to keep playing it over and playing it over and playing it over. I don't know if they're going to do that. You don't just get number ones by just making a hot record. That's not how this works. You just saw him with, who was it, Camila Cabello, or if I said her name right. I don't think that thing broke the top 100. I'm just going to be honest. He was a feature on that, and I don't think it broke top 100. I'm just going to be honest with you. A Drake feature used to guarantee you was in the top 20. Like, you was guaranteed. Now, you ain't even breaking 50. So he's going to struggle. And you got Metro Boomin to thank for that. Metro Boomin literally won. And I don't know if they the heroes or the villains. To me, they the heroes. Not saying that Drake is a villain, but low-key the way he was moving in this industry, he was low-key moving like a villain. And it was getting really, really crazy, right? I mean, even the Diddy fight, let's be honest. Diddy had a reason to get mad and swing on him. Let's just be honest, bro. Let's just be honest. Now, you don't do that. You don't put a beat out and take the whole song and make it when this guy was supposed to be on the song with you. You don't just take him. I get it that Diddy moved too slow on it, but he put the record out, didn't say nothing to Diddy, took the whole song. Allegedly, he's supposed to write for Diddy, and one thing led to another. I don't know what happened, but Diddy never moved on it. Whatever happened, Diddy didn't like the beat. Whatever the case may be, he went out and put 0 to 100 out, made a hit record. Diddy got mad, swung, boom. But end of the day, like even in the underground level, if we get the same beat, we're not supposed to say it. We're not supposed to use it. If I get the same beat from a producer, I'm not supposed to use it. This dude not only used it, he made it and didn't even put him on it with him. So I guess, whatever happened was circumstance of that. But I believe that Metro Boomin came out smelling like a rose. I believe this guy goes to sleep laughing. I believe Future really don't rock with, Future really don't rock with Drake either, but I think Future don't rock with Drake over some whatever they got going on with females, but I really think he's riding with Metro. I don't think it's as serious with Future as it is with Metro. I think Future came along for the ride because that's his man from day one, and he's like, this is who I am. This is who I rock with. I'm not going against the grain, so I think that's really why he's riding with it. I don't think he really has the deep-seated issues with Drake that this guy has. So, and The Weeknd and all these other guys, they came in and just did their thing. I think the team, they did the Wonder Twins activate, and they came in swinging, and I really believe that end of the day, I'm gonna have to say Kendrick was Iron Man with the stones on his stones on his fist, on his glove, right? And snapped his fingers. Drake is out of here. I think that's what happened. And now Drake not out of here. Let's not go crazy. But in the realm of hip hop, right now, Drake cooked. Now he got to make a comeback. Let's not fool ourselves that he got to make a comeback, because this is a fall from grace. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Did we just watch a superhero comic book style takedown, and we just watched Thanos get his head chopped off by Thor and the team? I don't know. I feel like we just saw an orchestrated plan, an assassination, and we saw the body fall, and that was what happened with Drake. Now he'll survive, and he still got a big mansion and a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But as far as his hip hop legacy, that's cooked. I'm just gonna be honest. That's cooked. He gonna make songs, and they're gonna be some nice sad songs about some females and some really cool melodies. I like Drake when he's with the melodies, right? It ain't gonna be a lot of tough talk, because that's not gonna really work right now. He gonna have to rethink his whole image. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Make sure you check out those THC infused products, the chocolates, the gummies, and all that good stuff like that. CLBMG.com. I'm gonna catch y'all on that flip. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.